What's going on, MMA fans? Today we're going to be talking about Jon Jones versus Dominick Reyes at UFC 247. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about this fight. A lot of people are pumped about this fight. But fans want to talk about Dominick Reyes' chances of beating Jon Jones. You know, the fight that impacts possibly, the whole entire UFC, that impacts the legacy of Jon Jones, who a lot of people are already saying is the GOAT of the UFC, considering his defenses, considering who he's beat, considering, just his overall MMA skill. It's really tough to go into this fight, thinking that Dominick Reyes, considering his former challengers, Dominick Reyes is coming in a 6-fight win streak with 2 of those fights over top-ranked, light heavyweights. But I'm going to say also in that, to be fair and to be honest and everything, fighting 2 top-ranked light heavyweights really shouldn't give him the chance to fight for a championship belt. But considering that there's really no one else to fight for the belt that Jon Jones hasn't beat, I guess it was just Dominick Reyes' chance to bat. But do any other MMA fans really have a problem watching this fight, considering, the implications that this might be Jon Jones' last fight in the light heavyweight division? Do fans really have a problem watching this? Because is Dominick Reyes really the UFC fighter to beat Jon Jones, considering his overall skill set and his accomplishments in the light heavyweight division? Let's take a look at it. The first 3 fights for Dominick Reyes coming into the UFC were against Joaquin Christensen, Jeremy Kimball, and Jared Cannonier. Can any of you MMA fans in there, tell me what you see with those names? Well, in case you can't, I will go ahead and say it. 2 out of those 3 are actually middleweights. And then you go to the next 3 fighters that Dominick Reyes fought to round out his 6-fight win streak. You have OSP, you have Volkan Ozdemir, and you have Chris Weidman. 2 of those career light heavyweights. And the 2 fighters that Dominick Reyes seems to have a problem with were the light heavyweights. We can say that, hey, Dominick Reyes effectively knocked out Ovince St. Preux. And that would be fair to say. And he still won that fight by decision. However, that played out for a lot of fans. And his next fight was Volkan Ozdemir, where a lot of fans actually believe that Volkan Ozdemir won that fight, completely adamant about it. And we can't blame them, but by official records, he beat Volkan Ozdemir. After that was Chris Weidman making his UFC light heavyweight debut, and we all know how that turned out. We won't speak about that. So out of the 3 light heavyweights that Dominick Reyes actually fought, 2 of them he failed to actually put away. One of those fights looked very questionable. So it's really hard to take away, something in those 3 fights for us to say that, hey, Dominick Reyes is putting on these amazing knockout finishes. He's destroying light heavyweights. He's running through the light heavyweight division when most of his fight is really finishing middleweights. Sure, we could say that about Jon Jones too, considering some of his competition. But when it came to light heavyweight competition, he was putting them away too. Where in this situation, Dominick Reyes has only put away 1 out of 3 light heavyweights. We're not going to sit down and talk about Dominick Reyes' skills, because he has skills and he has the striking credentials to actually use those skills. The guy is running around a 52% striking accuracy, landing 5 strikes per minute. You can't deny stats like that. But in the same essence, in his arsenal of striking skills, of course we're going to have to give that battle to Jones. So it's really hard to get excited for a fight between Jon Jones and Dominick Reyes, other than Dominick Reyes doing an amazing job of irritating the living crap out of Jon Jones, whether it be on social media, whether it be on the telephone, or whether it be on stage, wherever. It's something that's intriguing, but fans might be reading into it a lot more than they really should, because Daniel Cormier got under the skin of Jon Jones way more than Dominick Reyes. And look what happened to DC. More than likely, Jon Jones and his team have come up with some type of countermeasure, some type of game plan to basically beat Dominick Reyes. But Jon Jones, probably in his head, is possibly trying to find a way to completely embarrass and dominate the Dominator. Because if we remember, Jon Jones, down to the core, is the type of fighter that wants to beat you at your own game. He's the type of fighter that wants to be dominating and show everybody why he is where he's at. I mean, of course, I'm going to watch UFC 247. I mean, as a lifelong MMA fan, I really, really, really get excited to see Jon Jones, improve, to see him, get better, see what type of new skills he's going to pull out of the box. And I can really hope that Dominick Reyes shows up the same way, that he has been training, that his team has came up with a game plan to, do more than just counterpunch against Jon Jones. Unfortunately, using MMA math here, if Volkan Ozdemir was able to take down Dominick Reyes, unless he's improved on that aspect of his game, Jon Jones is definitely going to target that and put a huge spotlight on that aspect of Dominick Reyes in this fight. So I'm hoping for something more competitive. I mean, UFC 247, it's an amazing card. It's not the greatest card that, we're probably going to see this year, but it's still an amazing card. We get 2 title fights and everything. We get to see a new puzzle piece towards, the Jon Jones legacy. If Dominick Reyes is going to pull out something amazing, we get to see Valentina Shevchenko ply her trade against Caitlin Chukagian. We get to see some swanging and banging from Derek Lewis and more on this card. So we're definitely going to be watching. I'm definitely going to be watching, at least. I can't speak for everybody in the office here, but I will be definitely looking for this amazing game plan coming out of the Reyes camp, to see if they could bring out anything new, if they could bring out anything that's going to be able to even look useful against such a champion like Jon Jones. I think that's what MMA fans are looking for, that, hey, Dominick Reyes might have a very little chance, but he also might have something new that other fighters haven't brought to the table that he hasn't already shown in any of his fights. Because from what we have seen from his fights, I can understand that a lot of MMA fans wouldn't give him that much of a chance. So for you fans out there and everything, give us your opinion on why you think that Dominick Reyes is going to pull out a magical upset, or tell us why you're not excited about this fight. Or what do you think Jon Jones is going to do in this fight to basically cement his legacy as the UFC greatest of all time, at least in the light heavyweight division. So for now, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, give us a follow. We're MMA Hype News on Instagram. We're MMA Hype Watch on Facebook. Come engage with us. Help us grow as we continue to bring you some of the most exciting, best MMA content that we possibly can. We can't wait to bring you all more content. But until next time, this is G here at MMA Hype Watch, and we're out.